Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Vivek Learns. In the last video we had solved this problem for the bar chart where we had the elements of the array printed in a vertical fashion. Like whatever the elements of the arrays were, those were printed in a vertical fashion. So this was the last problem that we solved. So in this video, let's start with the next problem. So the pep coding site is down right now, so we'll use this video. This was the last video that we had solved, and let's try to solve the next video now. So the next video is sum of two arrays. So I'll be leaving this YouTube question link in the video description, so if you want to go through that you can. So uh, so this is the question that we have. We are given a number n representing size of an array. You are given n1 numbers representing elements of an array, and then you are given a number n2 representing size of array a2. You are given n2 numbers representing representing elements of array a2. The two arrays represent digits of two numbers. You are required to add the numbers represented by the two arrays and print the arrays. So what do we have? We have, suppose we have been given the input first as 5, and then we'll get 5 elements. Let's say 4, 2, 1, 1, and then let's say 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 elements, right? Yeah. So we will get another number now. Let's say 4. And what do we have here? Let's say we have 4 elements here. So these 4 elements will be given. And what are we, or what do they expect us to do? They are expecting us to add the two numbers. So this will be one array and this will be the second array. And we have to print addition of these arrays in next number. So we'll have to take the last element of the array and add it to the mm, last element of this array and so on. So we have to iterate in reverse. We have to get elements of the array and we have to just add them. So this problem will be similar to the one that we had solved for the addition with any base, right? If you remember. So here we have to just iterate over the arrays and we have to carry forward things. So what will be the size of the new array that will be that is being created? So for now, let us consider that there is no carry forward after this. Okay, and once we solve the simple base case without having the carry forward, then let us think about that edge case where we have the carry forward. So let us copy this and we have add arrays, right? Sum of two arrays or add arrays. So we get the elements from here. The length of array 1, let's say, elements of array 1, then length 1, let's say, Let's say we have this ARR1. Then we can have ARR2 here. Len2, Len2 here as well as Len2 here. Okay, so we get the two arrays. So this is after these steps we'll get the elements of the two arrays in an array ARR1 and ARR2. So we'll need to check if which array element is greater, right? First, if length 1 is length 1 greater or length 2, or no need of that, yeah. There is no need of that. So what we can do is that we can iterate over the elements of the array. Mm, so let's see, I is equals to 0, I less than mm, math dot max of length 1, length 2, let's say. But what if length 1 and length 2 are, what if length 1 and what does this return? Let's check. Returns an int, right? Then what we can do is that we can iterate over the array elements and we can have carry forward. So can get, or we can have something like, so let's consider the base case now that, the two elements are same of the same length. We won't need this length 1 or length 2. So we'll start iterating from length 1 or length 2. Then we can iterate till 1 minus 1, let's say. What do we do? We have the sum, which is equals to ARR1 of I plus ARR2 of I, right? So what we can do is that we get the sum, and once we get the sum, if sum is greater than 10, what do we need to do? We have to have a carry forward. So let's define an int carry forward, which is 0 here. So greater than or equal to, right? Carry forward is nothing but sum by 10. And then we can have the sum, which is sum or 10. And then we can have the result, the addition, something like the result. So we have integers, integer result. So we'll first try to have that not in an array. The expected output is that we must have that in an array, right? We are required to add the numbers represented by the two arrays and print the arrays. But let's first try to print it in this result integer that we have. It's a result plus sometimes 10, let's say. Or we can have math dot power. It's better that we have this because we may miss 10 to the power, let's say count event count is equals to 0. Okay, so once we have this, we must also add the carry forward as well, and then we can equate the carry forward as 0. That is what we had missed in the last questions that we had solved, right? Mm, yep. Yeah, so hopefully this works. And let's try to add some simple numbers. Let's try to add 4. Then let's try to add 4, 5, 5, 5, 5. Oh, we got an array index out of bound. We have to do minus minus, right? So we haven't printed the output. So let's try to print the output. Then we can have 4, 3 only, right? Because we have considered only. Yep, so we do get the result output, but we want that output in an array. So we'll try to solve that. As well as we have to solve for different lengths. So how do we solve for different lengths? So one way I can think is we can have another variable track the second length variable, have other condition like int I is equals to 0, or where do we have the or j is greater than or equals to 0, or carry forward is not equals to 0. Then we can have those conditions j minus minus, right? What we can do is we can have counter I for array 1 and j for array 2, let's say. This will give us array 1 plus array 2. We have carry forward. So this will solve the problem for lengths of unequal lengths. So what if arrays, we'll have to check the conditions right here. If I is less than 0, then we may get array index out of bound exception. So if I is less than 0, or yep, That's what we'll have to do. Then we'll have to do to I is equals to 0. Or if j is equal if less than 0, which is negative, then we'll have to equate it to 0. Mm, no, that's not what we want, right? So we don't want this. If we can have int temp arr1 element, let's say, which is 0. Arr2 element then, and what we can have is arr1 element plus arr2 element, which is greater than or equals to 0, then arr1 will be I, right? Similarly, we can have for G, because if we equate I is equals to 0 and J is equals to 0, we are just equating the like the index of to 0, right? Here are 2, 2 and then J. So if I is greater than 0, greater than or equals to 0, then can have this. J is greater than or equal to. If it is less than 0, then those elements will be 0, right? And we can have just the carry forward. So let's try to print. Hopefully this works. We have 5 and we have 9. 8. Then see we have 1 and 2. Then we have two elements, 2 and 2. So we have 9, 4. So 2 gets added to this. So it will have the after elements will be 3 and 4. 3 and 4 and then 1, 4, 3. So, okay, so this works. Let's try for some other inputs. 3 and let's say we have 9 and 9. 3, we have 4 elements here. 9, 9. So 999 plus 999. So let us try to check it here. 999 plus 9999. 9 plus 9 is 18. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 8. 18 plus 8. 8 plus 8 is almost 16. So 26. Uh, not 26. This is the wrong output that we have. 9 plus 9 is 18. 1 carry, right? And 8. 9 plus 9 is 18 again. Plus 1, 9. So we'll get this 9. We'll have another 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 1 carry, 19. And then we have this 9 plus 1, 10. This is how we get the output. So the only caveat or the edge case that we have to solve now is to have this result in an array, right? So we can have result array something like this. int power length 1 comma. So this will give us the maximum of the length that we have, right? What we can do is we can have another variable to track it, or we can create a max length variable. Right, then we can have max length here, then we can iterate over that array, and we can have the elements in that particular order. We can have max length, then we can have the result. Mm, So what will this do is it will have the max length, we'll have minus minus. This equals to max length minus 1. Let's say we can have something like max length minus minus also here. So result array of max length minus minus is equals to sum, right? We can have the output as arrays dot to string result array, right? So let's try to have this for a simple use case first. For unequal, let's say we have 4 elements with 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then we have 2 elements, let's say 5 and 5. Okay, so the output should be 5, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my bad. We have to do math dot max, right? Not math dot power. Let's try it again for 5. Then we can have 2 elements, 2 and 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. And 2 is added here, 7. And this will become 6. So this is working fine. So let us now discuss the edge case where we will have the carry forward, right? So the carry forward will occur when I is equals to 0 and j is equals to 0, and carry forward is not equals to 0. So at that time we'll have to increase the length of the array, right? So now let me show you the issue here. So the expected output that we have here is something like, okay, let me have this here, 1 0, and then we'll have here 8. What do we have here is 9. We have here as 9. 10998 is the output of this, right? 9 plus 9 is 18, 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 1 19, 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 1 19, and then we have one carryover. So this will give one more carryover. So this carryover occurs when I is also exhausted and j is also exhausted. So when I is equals to 0 as well as j is equals to 0, or they can be less than 0 as well, right? Because we are subtracting each time, correct? We are subtracting each time. So what we can do is, if I is less than equals to 0 and j is less than equals to 0 and carry forward is not equals to 0, then we'll have to increase the length of the array, right? How do we increase the length of the array? So we'll have to increase it by taking the max of length 1 and length 2 and then adding 1. We can have a temp max variable which stores the temporary max length. So the temp max plus 1 will be the new element, will be the new length of the array. So I'll say new array x plus 1. Okay, and what do we need to do is, yeah, so after this what do we need to do? We need to copy all the elements of array result array to this array. So we'll iterate over the result array and starting from k is equals to 0 to k is equals to 1, starting from k is equals to result array dot length minus 1 to k is less greater than equals to 0 to k minus minus, and then we can iterate over elements to have. Okay, so the issue here will be the length will be right. So we'll treat from k is equals to length minus, not from k is equals to result array dot length, because that will be the size of the array, because we have added 1 here, and we'll try to add it to the new array. So this is the logic for if have carry forward. At last, then we have to increase the length of the array. So we increase the length of the array by 1, then we iterate over the result array that we have, and then we populate k with, so we'll have to populate with the result array k minus 1, right? How do we do it? So let's say k of 3, like the new array element of 3. So let's say we have this use case of 99 plus 9. Simple use case of 99 plus 9, which is nothing but 9 plus 9 is 18, right? And when we have one carry over here, then 9 plus 9 is 10. But we have a carry forward here. Carry forward is not equals 0. And I is equals to 0. I is less than equal, I is equals to 0. As well as j is, what do we have, that j is less than equals to 0. J will be less than 0, right? So what do we do is we add 0 plus 9, and then we have the carry forward set to, yeah, we have the carry forward here set to 0 first, and then we have the carry forward again calculated here. So sum by 10, which gives 10 by 10 is 1, and the sum is 0, right? So what do we have is we have two elements here, and we'll create a new array with three elements, temp, max plus 1. Then we'll have to copy all the elements of this array to the new array. Not this array, but the result array that we have. So the result array will be having only 8, right? And then we'll have to I is equal to 0 and j is also equal less than 0. So result array, let's say this is 2. K is equal to 2 and k is greater than equals to 0, right? So what will happen is result error of 2. So we'll have the index 2 created here, which will have this result error of k minus 1. K minus 1 is 2 minus 1, which is 1, right? Yep. So I think this will work. And then we'll keep decrementing key, right? So now what do we have to do? Is we'll have to have this in else condition. If this is not true, if I is equals to 0, I is greater than 0, then we'll add to this. Okay, I'm just thinking that should we have AND conditions or conditions here? So if I is greater than 0, then this will come out of this and it will come here. That this will not be executed. Right, so is that what we want? If I is greater than 0, so I meaning the first element here. So to have the carry forward, we'll have to exhaust I as well as j, right? And carry forward is not equals to 0. So yeah, this condition is satisfied. But but how do we have the last entry that we want? Hmm, how do we have that? Okay, so if we don't have this, if we have only this logic, then let me show you what the problem is. So we have the first element as 9 and second element as 9, and we have one element in the second area is only 9, which gives us array index out of bounds exception, because what is happening is max length is exhausted. So we'll have to somehow increase the max length as well, right, for one iteration. So what we can do is we can increase the max length after we have done this. So let's try. So max length should be 0 for the 0th element, right? So hopefully that works. We have max length plus plus. We have this here. Okay, we try to run it again. 2. Oops, it again gives me for the 50th line. Okay, so it's complaining that its array index out of bound for -1. Okay, key -1 for main. So where do we have the issue here? So new array will be temp array plus 1, and this will be the result array. So the result array length will be the max of L1 and L2, right? So result array is greater than equals to 0. Then we have, oh, so if it is equals to 0, then we are having the issue, right? It should be equals to 1, because we are doing k -1, right? Yep. So what will happen is, let me have this problem here. So we'll have result arrays length as 2 first. Okay, we have result array length f2, so k is equals to 2, right? And then we'll have new array of 2, then 1, and then 0. Okay, so we'll have to iterate 2, 2 and 1, because the 0th element have to be left for this, because at that time the carry forward will also be 0. Yep. So for the last condition, this will be true, this will be true, and this will also be true, because the carry forward, we are equating the carry forward as 0, and this block will be not executed for the last iteration. So let me try to run this. Hopefully this works for two elements, 9 and 9. One element as 9. Oops, it does not work. We are printing result array. We have to print. Okay, we have to insert in the new array after that. So we can have another condition with else if then we add to the new array, not the result array. Or we can have plus plus length here, or we can directly add it here instead of having this condition, right? So I think it's better that we add the last element, which will be the 0th element directly, and then we return. So this will be the edge case or the last condition. Then what will happen is new ARR of 0 will be equal to carry forward. Then how do we check if, then we'll have to have another check here. If max length is max length plus plus, let's see. How do we check if we have to print the result array or the new array? So we have copied it and then we have equated the, and then we can break from here. So this break will end this for loop, not this if loop, this for loop, and then it will go outside. Then it should print the result. So what we can do to avoid the confusion, we can return from here and we can just print it, but that will be a wild or not a good way of handling it. But let's check it. Okay, let's try to run it. Array index out of bounds for 51. What did we do wrong here? 2 max length plus 1 is what we had. So what's happening here is k is result array dot length, right? Of 2 k minus 1. It should work as expected, but let's try. So we have 2. Yep, that's the expected output that we get. So what's wrong with max length plus plus? Not sure. Temp max length plus plus. Are we using it anywhere? No, right? They should work. Strange. this. Okay, so the max length plus temp max length. I don't think we are using it anywhere, right? We are using it here itself. Oh, the max length plus will increment it on the next line. So we have to do plus max length. That's the catch. 2, 9 and 9. And there we have 1. Yes, 1098. 108. 9 plus 9 is 18. Then 1 carry forward. So we can add some new elements as well. For example, 3. We have 4. Yep, that is what the answer that we were expecting. So I hope you have understood this problem that we have solved. It was a lengthy video, but you can watch it again to get some better understanding and figure out how to solve this. One way we can optimize this solution in a better way is that we can have some kind of check here and not return from here, some kind of check here at the last and not have this return statement. So we can have some temp max variable. We can check this. If it is greater than the max of length 1 and length 2, then we can print result. uh, if it is greater, then we can print the new array, else we can print the old array. So let's try to do that. So we don't want to return from here. I don't think it's a good coding practice to return directly. So what we can do is we can check if temp max length is greater than if it is greater than int of math dot max of length 1 and length 2. I hope length 1 and length 2 are not exhausted. Yep, we haven't done length 1 minus minus, right? Yep, we haven't. So if it is greater than max, then what we can do, else we can do this, can print a new array. So you'll have to go through one more iteration for this, right? Yep. And it's complaining that new array cannot be resolved. So we can have the new array initialized here. Before it, where can we have it initialized? We can have it initialized here. Where have we declared it? We've declared it here itself. Okay. Or what we can do is a better way. We can start pointing to that array and then we can break. Breaking is fine, but I don't think returning from a method directly inside a for loop is a good coding practice. So what we can do is we can have result array point to that new array and then we can break. So this will break from this for loop and we'll just have to print the result array now. So this avoids the hassle of having that if condition that we discussed, right? So let's try to run it for 2, 9 and 9. Yep, we are getting the expected output. Let's try it for another case. Then we have 5 nines. Yep, let's try it for a simple case of 3. 9 plus 8 is 17. 9 plus 2 is 11 plus 1. 11 plus 1 is 12. So 1 is carryover. Yep. So this is the expected output that we get. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. Thank you.